Good morning again. Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing a subject to you that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know. This will be a second video for me today on June 1st, 2025, and it is in regards to a video I just watched. In part, in honesty, I did not finish the video. I didn't feel like I needed to because there was a show-stopping problem for me that I could not proceed beyond, but a video of the beautiful vocalist Lauren Mayberry from the former band Churches, describing in an interview some of her feelings about misogyny and feminism. She's a pretty outspoken feminist. I don't think I'm out of line saying that. She's a self-described feminist, I believe. Anyway, in the video, she says, in response to the interviewer, that she believes society needs to change. And I want to comment on that because that's kind of a big question, and I think I see both sides of it, and it's the wrong question. I want to get to that in just a second. So the question is it more relevant for a woman to consider first how she should behave and act in regards to other people and herself, or is it more productive towards the goals of feminism to be an activist and aim at restructuring or changing society in a way that makes it more habitable for women? I think that's the question. And there are different perspectives, obviously. There's people who think that you can't change people. There's people who think the only solution is changing people. And I think, like I said just a moment ago, it's the wrong question to ask. And this is the point of this video. There's a big piece that's being glossed over here, and it is the piece that creates this entire problem, and it is glossed over so commonly that I would venture to say that this particular feature of our society causes at least 80 or 90% of our major social problems, and that is, drum roll, a forced competitive economic environment. And it is not the only option. We are brought up and educated to believe that our way is best. It is the only sane solution to economics, that we should be in competition with our neighbors, that businesses should be in competition with each other, that it drives innovation, and that it's fair because it creates an open market. Well, turns out when you look at all this stuff, and this isn't a deep dive into economics, but when you look at it, very little of that stuff is even actually happening. It's just we are being segregated and micromanaged. And that's really the purpose of this. So when you understand what's actually happening, misogyny becomes an aspect of this. When young women have to pay their bills by one way or another, just like everyone else, and they do, they have to do things that they don't want to do. Men also have to do things that they don't want to do. How do you think that these cultures arise? How do you think these attitudes arise? Those two questions are related. Hear me out. The culture of misogyny, where you have, entire industries, demographics, connected to the porn industry, connected to all kinds of things that are toxic, patently toxic to women. The attitudes that must be adopted so that people can live with themselves, so that they can get to sleep at night and look at themselves in the mirror. They just convince themselves, well, these women are things because I got bills to pay. And if they aren't things, now I got a big problem. If women aren't things, if they're actual people, I have a huge problem because now I can't pay my bills. Do you understand? Okay, well, there is another option, and it's not changing society. It's redesigning our economic model. And I've been saying this in at least half my videos. Shouldn't be a surprise to anybody who's familiar with my content, but there needs to be subsidies. It is almost a magic bullet for this and so many problems. UBI, Universal Basic Income, that is, you may not have fancy stuff unless you earn it, but you're not going to die if you don't work. And if you have a choice, all of a sudden everything changes. All of a sudden you're allowed to not be a misogynist. All of a sudden you're allowed to be respectful. So the question right now is, are people even allowed to be respectful? And the answer is no, they're not. There's your problem. Hope that makes sense. If you have questions, reach out to whitehotrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.